Welcome, everyone. Hi, I'm Dori Soukup, founder of Inspiration Management. And with me today is my special friend and guest, Miss Jill Swartz. I'm so excited that we are here with you today. Actually, Jill and I decided to do this webinar together because we both feel we can add value to the situation that we are going through right now. Our goal is to encourage you, inspire you, and give you a solid guideline to help you navigate through this crisis, minimize business disruptions, and truly come up with a great recovery plan. We're going to be going over a system that we came up with. It's called the M.A.P.S system. And the M.A.P.S system is going to be a very helpful tool for all of you to be able to implement so you can navigate through these difficult times that we're all experiencing. We actually have people with us. I was just telling Jill, we maxed out our Zoom platform. We had hundreds and hundreds of you register for this event. And I just want to give a shout out, Jill. We actually have people from all over the world. This is truly a situation where it's affected everybody globally, as we know. And I just want to, I was going through the list of the people that actually registered, and we have people from Dublin. I just want to give a shout out. Hi, Eileen from Dublin, Daniela from Ontario. We have Katrina from Czech Republic. We have Lillian from England. Miria from Italy. Our prayers are with you, our Italian friends. Maha from Poland, Noritza from Malaysia. Actually, I've been to Malaysia and Poland, both. Finat from Germany, Australia, Philippines, people from all over the US are with us. It's truly very exciting for me, and I know it is for you as well, Jill, that there are people who are looking for answers. We feel like we're all in the same boat, and we really want to come up with something that would be helpful for everybody. Before actually we start, I also want to say thank you, a special thanks, because I know in your community, Jill, and in my community, we have so many physicians, medical professionals who are working so hard right now in actually making a difference and saving lives. So I just want to tell you that your efforts are truly appreciated, and we thank you so much for everything that you are doing.
Yes, and our thoughts and prayers are to the medical professionals. They definitely need our support and our prayers. This is a very, very tough time for everyone. And I think the fact that all of these people from all over the globe are joining us is a true testimony to how important it is that we come together, you know, and connect as a group, as people, as a society. So I'm very excited as well. As challenging as it is, it's exciting. So yes. Thank you, Dori, for
sure. Oh, it's my pleasure. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And here's what we're going to go over today. We're going to go over the M.A.P.S system. So as this crisis came upon us, I was sitting at home asking myself some very important questions. As a matter of fact, questions like you should ask yourself to help your community. And I was sitting there thinking, what can I do? What do my clients really need from me right now? What do professionals who own medical spas and medical practices and day spas and wellness centers really need from us right now? How can we really help them? How can I truly make an impact on the industry as a whole? And that's really how we came up with the M.A.P.S system. So the M.A.P is an acronym for the process that I'm going to take you through together with Jill on how we can navigate through the coronavirus and minimize all business disruptions. So M.A.P stands for M is the mindset. And that's where we're going to start with. We're going to start by taking a check and see exactly where we are right now and what do we need to do to change our thinking, our way of thinking. The A is assess. How can you take very effective steps to assess where you are right now and what are some of the options that you have to make things better? And the P is planning to minimize that disruption. And then the S is success, which is planning your relaunch. So this event is going to really be a start of what we would like to accomplish. There's really a lot to do. We're not going to be able to cover or answer all of your questions on just this 1 hour webinar. So Jill and I and some other professionals have made a commitment to come live to you like this so we can truly add value and help you navigate through this entire process. So I want to
Absolutely.
take you through the thought process that I actually went through as this coronavirus actually hit us. And as I started talking to all of my members, I found out that some of the biggest challenges were people don't know what to do right now. They don't really know what to do about their employees. Should they keep them on? Should they pay them? Should they not? Thoughts of fear and uncertainty comes upon all of us, and we all need help to really navigate through this because we are in a place that nobody has been before. So obviously all these fear and challenges bring us to actually make changes. So as I was sitting there coming up with this content, was reminded, or I reminded myself of a book that I always recommend people about change, and that's Who Moved My Cheese. I don't know if you guys have ever read this book, but it's a cute little book. It's a quick read, and it really makes the point about change. And if you have not read it, you really should. So I'm just going to give you a quick little synopsis about what the book, the point of the book is all about. So it takes place in a maze where your characters are looking for cheese, right? And the cheese is a metaphor for what we want to have in life. It could be your profession, it could be your relationships, money, health, freedom, anything that you're looking for. So that's the cheese. So it's a metaphor for that. And if we lose it, or it gets taken away, like it got taken away from us right now, that's what we're going through, then we start experiencing all these challenges that we just talked about. The maze in the story is a representation of where we spend our time to actually find what we want. So it could be your work, your community, your relationships, things like that. So the story, and again, you really should read it. And Jill and I were reminiscing about it here a little while ago. It's about 4 little characters that live in this maze. There were 2 mice, Scurry and Sniff, and 2 little people, which is him and Ha. So him and Ha sat around when they got up one morning, actually, all 4 of them, and they went to see the cheese again, or eat the cheese, and the cheese was gone. So Scurry and Furry put their tennis shoes on, which are the 2 mice, and they started running around the maze, going out looking for new cheese, where him and Ha sat around complaining and in disbelief that somebody took their cheese. Well, that's really where we are right now. And I thought this was a great analogy to make my point across here, is that the coronavirus took our cheese right now. So how do we go and find new cheese? That's really our mission right now, is to be able to find more cheese. So how do we do that?
And if I can just add it in there, you know, everyone, regardless of the public health effects that we're seeing from this virus, we're already seeing a tremendous business and economic impact. But because we're leaders, and we're leaders because all of you who are on this webinar are clearly leaders, we're faced with major leadership challenges. But as Dori's going to explain, this is also a tremendous opportunity for all of us.
Absolutely. So the whole key here of us doing this webinar is to find our way back to what we had, to finding that cheese. And we're going to be able to do it through the M.A.P. system. And that's, again, what we're going to spend time on here in the next hour, is going over that and how that's going to help you with your business. So before we dive in though, Jill and I actually did this combined webinar for both of our communities, so you can both benefit. So there are some people on webinar with us today that are not familiar with Jill, and there are some people who are in Jill's community that are not familiar with me. So Jill, I'm gonna let you do a little introduction, letting people know a little bit about your company and what you do and how you help members of the community.
Great. Well, thank you, Dori. And let me first just thank you for this opportunity to join you on this platform. Throughout my career, I've had the privilege to work with hundreds of entrepreneurial physicians and clinicians and even business leaders. So, and really from every walk of medicine and every different type of board specialty. So I've seen many of you that are on this webinar, I'm certain, overcome monumental challenges already just from shifting your business from the broken system of the healthcare insurance-based medicine to operating successful cash-based medical spas and concierge membership medicine practices. So you've already overcome so much more than half the pack that you're associated with. So, and we've taught each other very well. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I'm looking forward to working with you to help you, and you help me lead us through these challenging times. So I've built Specialty Med Training, which is a membership-based network. We focus on online trainings, preceptorship trainings, group trainings, and it's all the clinical aspect. And we do studies and research, and we really do bring together the functional regenerative and practical functional regenerative medicine groups together, and we help them learn new procedures, new practice offerings, new techniques to add to their practice offerings, to really keep them relevant in the fast-paced, changing pace of regenerative medicine in this cash-based world. Absolutely. So we've partnered up with Dori. Dori's an absolute perfect fit for our network membership because Dori has a lot of the business experience. So mirroring or marrying the clinical aspect with the business aspect of our two networks has been a really phenomenal, we've just started, but a phenomenal start to our partnership. And I like to say Dori's kind of like, her group is the execution expert. So I can take you so far. I work with the leading physicians who handle all of our trainings, the leading partners, industry partners like the top pharmacies and biologic companies. I have a whole distribution company because on top of the training aspect, we also distribute many of the devices and equipment that is used in this field. But I can take it that far. So Dori has been able to be able to help our members now execute the business practices and processes to help the practices become successful. So there's two sides of it, right? The whole clinical aspect side, the whole training. And for you guys, that's the easy part for most of you. You're doctors. I mean, you know how to inject. If you get the latest protocol, it's quite simple. But it's the execution that's the key. And that's really the heavy lifting, to be honest with you. So
well, thank you.
That's a little bit, about me. And
yeah, it's great to have you. And that's what I love about your company. It is a great opportunity for people to be able to expand. We're going to talk a little bit about changing the menu during the relaunch and things like that. And learning new skills is always a very important thing to actually do. So to introduce,
and I think, let me add one thing, Dori, too. I think the best part, the most critical part is they're learning from other physicians who have successfully implemented. It's a peer-to-peer collaboration. I'm the facilitator. You know, I just have the privilege of being in this space for a long time, but the doctors, the group, the network of Specialty Med is a group of like-minded physicians who are working together to move the field forward.
Right.
So
exactly. And actually one of your faculty members is one of our mastermind members, and one of my favorite, actually, one of our probably most successful members, Dr. Lisa Vuich in New Hampshire. She has an amazing team, amazing location. She's so smart. So definitely I see that what you've structured is a very valuable thing for people. Yes. So again, thank you so much for joining me, Jill.
You're welcome.
So a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Dori Soukup. For those of you who have not attended any of our events before, I don't know where you've been. No. Just kidding. I have a brand new book out though. I would like to offer it to you as a gift. You can go online to inspirationmanagement.com and get a copy of it. It's How to Make Millions with Your Medical Spa. It's my third book that we just launched. So it would be a great tool. You can get an online version of it, an ebook of it, totally free, or you can also buy it on Amazon, or we can ship one for you for just shipping and handling. So I would like you to have a copy. So I've been doing medical spa consulting and spa consulting for almost the past 20 years. I've had the pleasure to speak all around the world. Many of the countries that I mentioned, I've actually visited. I am an author, and I like to help people by advising them on business. So I'm a seven-figure actually business advisor, because I like to work with people that make seven figures, multiple seven figures, and help them succeed further. So our office is in Daytona Beach. I normally have a team of about 14, 15 people, but today I only have a skeleton crew because, like everybody else, we're trying to do the social thing, the right thing to do. But I have to keep working, and that's why we're doing this webinar. So to learn more about us and what we do, we provide people with all sorts of educational tools and seminars and webinars and events to help you grow your business. So really our whole purpose is help you develop a successful business. So after Jill teaches you what to do, we help you make money with what to do. So welcome again, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm so excited to share this with you. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the M in mindset, in M.A.P.S, and that's mindset. Mindset plays a big role. Just like I shared the story about him and her, that's not what we want. And you know, you want to give yourself permission to feel some of this that I have on the screen right now. And Jill and I were talking about this, and it's not normal not to feel these things. So know that it's okay to feel those things, but we can't stay here. We have to move on. So you might be feeling the fear, the anxiety, the sadness, all the things, but it's very important to go ahead and cry if you want to cry, feel sad or fearful if you want to feel sad or fearful, but you've got to move on. I'm sure you experienced them too, Jill, right?
Yes, yeah. And a business leader, a friend of mine, Michael Hyatt, says you've successfully gotten through 100% of your most difficult days already. So you're going to get through these days too, but you have to win the battle with your mind.
That's right.
That's going to be the key.
Exactly. So what I would like to start us with is, again, give yourself some time to go ahead and feel the pain, but then you're going to need to shift. You have to make the shift into that positive emotions. They're all emotions, and they're all controlled with our thoughts. So you can't afford to really be on the right side of this. You cannot afford any of these negative emotions right now. What we need to do is go ahead and shift gears and be totally positive, even though it's hard to do. But you know what? You can do it, because if you think it, then it's going to become a reality. So I don't want you to get stuck back with negative emotions. I want you to move forward and start experiencing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So one of my favorite quotes is, it's not what happens to us, it's how we react to it. So if we let fear paralyze us and stop us from doing what we need to do, then we're stuck. We're like him and her. What we want to do instead is figure out, how can we move forward? How can we make these improvements that we're going to go over with you, and start with the planning process. So really the first step is acknowledging the negativity or the fear and all that. And we all probably are going through these processes now. First, you can't believe it. You're in disbelief. And then you go through that anger that we just talked about. But here's where you need to move on. The last 3 points. You have to, first of all, accept that we have to change. We have to do something differently. And then once we go through that process of acceptancy, then we need to come up with that action plan and then the implementation process. But if we don't go through that, then we don't have clarity on what we're trying to accomplish, right?
And my friends, we have to be through denial. We have to be through anger. those, I mean, we're a few weeks in. Some of my practitioners have already had to close their doors because they're in cities that are in states that are not allowing them to run their business.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be acting and implementing already.
Mm-hmm.
So just we really, really get through it, shake yourselves off. Our hardest days are beyond us. Let's get into preparation mode.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I've already personally, I've had to, I'm just going to give you an example. I've created a whole new vision board for myself and for my business. I've eliminated 2 product lines that weren't making money for my distribution company. I am, we have to start working on our business. We can't sit back and get swallowed up here. We have to move and evolve and pivot.
Actually, that's a very big positive thing you just mentioned, Jill, because I always hear people, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that, because they were all working in their business. So now you can take that time and really work on it, like you're just mentioning. And you really need to take that step and start working on it, because if you don't, you're going to get stuck behind and you may not recover from this. I hate to be so blunt, but that's the fact. So you really have to be awakened, be innovative right now, and start doing things in a new way, differently, so you can rise above all this.
Yes, and all transparency, we're people too. I was completely guilty of working in my business.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time in 5 years. I mean, listen, we've seen a lot of success. We've had some great days, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time in 5 years that I've actually sat back and said, oh my gosh, I really am working on my business. In fact, all truth, I'm excited about this opportunity. I have a minute to breathe. Thank goodness, some planning and financial pieces are in place, but this is the time to work on it. So,
absolutely. So one thing we really need to do is revise, and that's really where it all starts with. If you want to start making corrections, we have to go through the revision process of what is it that we really need to change. But we have to be careful. We need to make those changes with the right attitude, because if you're making revisions with the stinking thinking, you're going to be in deep caca. So be very careful. You've got to do it right, because if you don't, you're going to be doing the wrong things, and that's the last thing we want to do.
And we're going to give you tools to do this. So
absolutely.
A lot of talk and a lot of there's some actionable steps that we're going to give you, exercises that are going to help you through this. I'm personally involved with coaching through this, with leadership through this crisis too. So we are, we're not just preaching, we're going to really give you some tangible tools as well.
Absolutely.
To help you through this.
So this is the process we want to take you through. The first thing you really should do is that mindset restructuring. So I want you to take some time tonight after you do this webinar. I want you to sit back and reflect on life. Actually, we're going to give you a worksheet, what Jill was talking about. We already created it. You're going to have, when we send out the email with the replay of the webinar, you're going to have it to actually do some true reflections and coming up with the plans on how to really impact your community and how you can help people. So we want to drill down to what do we really like about our life right now, or right before the crisis? What are some of the things that we did not like? What changes do you want to make in your life? Let this be almost like a reset button. So whatever you did not like before, you need to make change. So when you relaunch, you're relaunching with new ideas, new strategies, new processes, so your life can be what you really want it to be. So it's a very important time for us. Things sometimes happen for a reason. And I think we've all been, Jill and I were talking about this, we've all been working way too hard. We're killing ourselves. We just, like, what is the quality of life anymore? It's crazy.
Exactly.
So it's really time to reset. Actually, I just read this other book called Do Nothing. And don't take the title literally. It's about how to break away from overworking, overdoing, and underliving. And she talks about all how to really reinvent yourself in a way where you can, yes, still be successful, but have the quality of life. So let this crisis that we're going through right now make that shift for you. I know it's going to make it for me, and I know Jill is going to go through that process as well. But that's a very crucial time to really do the reflection, but then take the action. I think that would be very important to do.
And if I just might add, to the exercise of reflection and taking some time to do that worksheet, turn the TV off, turn the news off. The only thing you have control over is yourself. Mm-hmm. Take this time for you. This is it. I mean, take as long as you want. You might even find yourself enjoying it. I promise you, you will. Mm-hmm. But you will get much more out of this time that you're spending with us, which clearly we have over 300 people on this webinar.
So we have over 500 people.
Oh, okay. So
we exceeded our count.
Wow. And that's amazing. That really is. But you won't get as much out of it if you'll only get out of it what you put into it. So don't sit here and listen. Maybe you can't do this worksheet now, but when you go home tonight, today, and don't turn on the news, who cares? You'll get enough information tomorrow. Do this worksheet.
Yep. Actually, that's probably the worst thing that they can do right now is just keep watching TV, because it's going to do nothing but really work havoc on your mindset and fill it with all kinds of negativity. So I really want you to restructure. And this is part of the reflection process that you should go through right now, is take a look at your health. Because put it this way, if we're not healthy, we're not going to be able to help anybody. So take a check with that and see how good you are taking care of yourself. Think about your purpose in life. What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to do as entrepreneurs, medical professionals, as med spa owners, whatever role you play right now? And then once you do that reflection and you find out what did you like about your life pre-coronavirus, what would you like it to be, come up with these goals for yourself and that clear vision, that desire of what you want your life to really be like. And then, of course, we need to spend some time on our business, on how we're going to shift. What are we going to do differently? How can we generate still revenue? Those type of things. And then, of course, the lifestyle. What do we really want our life to be once we relaunch and things kind of go back to not where they were, but better than where they were? And then the last point, and I know we can all spend time on that. And I know for the last couple of weeks, I have truly enjoyed my time to read. I've probably read about 20 books in 2 weeks. It's just been a book junkie. And that's personal development time. PDT is what I call it. And you've got to have personal development time right now, whether it is learning clinical from Jill's platform. Maybe you can tell them a little bit about that, or whether you're learning business techniques. I know both of us have some free webinars where you can go and learn. Do you want to tell them a little bit about where to access it?
And we weren't really going to get too much into the clinical solution side, but we have at 12 online learning courses. This is an amazing time to enhance your skill set. Maybe it's even for just complete distraction. Maybe you're already doing some of the procedures. We have combination courses that use regenerative therapies for male and female sexual wellness, for hair regrowth, for facial aesthetics, for hair regrowth, for orthopedics. So a vast array of online training courses. All of which, of course, are trained in group trainings, which we wouldn't be doing now. But even if you're doing these procedures, maybe this is a great time to freshen up on your skill, or learn from another specialist who's doing it in particularly that field. So one of our educators is you mentioned Dr. Buick. She's an aesthetic true artist and very, very well versed in aesthetics, and her techniques are completely different than some others. Dr. Bano, he is a board certified urologist for 30 years. He Completely. I mean, everyone is following his protocol when it comes to male and female sexual wellness. So whatever it is, whatever, if it's aesthetic, if it's a microneedling technique, or seeing what's new, how you can increase your skill set, that's where I come, you know, where you could be spending some good quality time. And that truthfully is personal development.
Yep.
So it's not just your business, that's developing you and your skill set.
Yeah.
And maybe
their
your nurse
team, and their team, Jill, not just them. You really need to get everybody on board.
And perhaps that's a way for them to they're being remote, and that you can keep them maybe part-time engaged.
Yeah.
So they're you know learning,
expanding their knowledge.
And and then of course you on the business side being able to attend some seminars or masterminds virtually, and embrace some of your implementation programs. Yes, all of these things, however it's your particular practice, but don't sit back and be idle. Really take this time to learn, to grow, to reflect. And again, we have these tools. Like I said, we're not just saying this, we're going to give you tools to do it.
So, I mean, we've already shifted gears. I mean, every day we've been doing our mastermind meetings. Today we had, we call it Brewing Brilliance it's a mastermind gathering. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're arming everybody with what they need to just make the changes and keep going.
And that's brilliant. And you've inspired me, and I'm going to start that this week at the end of the week of communicating with my network that way, because they're in need for it. Again, human connection. We need to connect this way, and they do not want to be isolated.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, the group, the mastermind idea actually came from Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, one of my favorite books of all times. And when you get a bunch of like-minded people together on a webinar or phone or whatever, I mean, truly brilliance comes out. And that's really why it's so important to be part of a network or part of a community.
Absolutely.
So you can bounce off of each other.
It's the number one value point that resonates throughout our network is the peer-to-peer collaboration. And that's outside of me. That's just being able to network with a group of their peers, that they can say what's working, what's not. I mean, it's invaluable. It's not, it's how medicine should be practiced. It's what happens after medicine. They're just left alone. So yeah, networking is critical.
Yeah. So we have a lot of free webinars also on inspirationmanagement.com. So if anybody who's new to our community would like to tap into some of the business skills that we teach, feel free to go there and see some free webinars to really help you with your business. So a couple of books I like to recommend for you, my favorite books. That's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a great book to read. And then the next one is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People with the late Stephen Covey. And then of course, my newest book would be a great book for you, geared towards the industry specific. So to wrap up our mindset section here is with a famous quote actually from Zig Ziglar: if you believe you can, you will. If you believe you can't, you won't. Either way, you're right. So at the end of the day, what goes on between our ears is what's going to happen. So I really want to encourage you to have a great positive mental attitude and move forward, get past the fear and the negativity, and let's start that path towards recovery and minimizing this disruption.
So Dori, I just took a quick peek just to see before we move out of MAPS and into assess if there was any specific questions as it came to mindset, and there isn't, but there is a question, anonymous attendee, about the worksheet, and at the end you're going to be getting this in an email. It says, where is the worksheet? So just to let you know. Yes,
we will be mailing it out with the replay of the actual event. So, all right, let's go into the A in MAPS, and that's to assess. Time to assess and figure out your options. So again, we're dealing with change. Things are not like they used to be. So let's go over what we should actually assess. There are a few things that you need to do. One is you need to assess your operation, your team, your financial, and the marketing. Now we're gonna go over each little section here to see what you really need to do. Now, the first thing is some of you are already open or are still open, and some of you are closed. So depending on where you are with that, you need to assess and see how many people really you want to keep on with the team coming in if you are open, and how many can actually maybe stay home, or come up with all the guidelines on how you're going to operate if you are still open. And believe it or not, there are still some people that are actually open in certain states. Now, if you're closed, then you need to decide about some team issues. Am I going to keep paying the team? Am I going to lay them off? Am I going to only keep a couple on pay? So you need to make some really important decisions here on what you need to do moving forward, or at least to stop the bleeding, if you will, on what is going on financially now to all of our businesses. Then
And
you
this
want
is,
to
if I
go
can add
ahead.
in, Dori, this is an assessment, guys, that needs to be done on a weekly basis, if not daily basis. So I think there's another worksheet that we have about a week to week. You have to be looking at this. You cannot improve what you don't assess.
Mhm.
So I don't know, your situation today is going to be very different from Monday, regardless of what this virus does or what's open or not. So you have to understand what that means. So you may be able to keep some person on each week and or this week and not next. The key here is communication. Your team, regardless of how big or small, needs to understand that you are on a day-to-day basis. That's the first thing you can do, honest communication. We'll go more into this. And in fact, Dori, this is another great in-depth next series of education webinars that we need to provide.
And I'm actually trying to invite an attorney who specializes in employment laws too, to come on a webinar with me. So we're trying to arrange a date so we can give you solid information on what you really need to do and stay within the legal guidelines. So the other thing that we're gonna go over quickly here is the financial situation. What money do you have coming in? What can you delay going out? And then the opportunity to actually go and do the prep work for a financial loan. Actually, Jill and I were talking about that a little bit this morning, about some of the steps, and we're probably going to do a webinar for you just on going through that process and give you some input on what's the best way to navigate through that, because you were telling me it's a very lengthy process.
I mean, I'm personally going through it. Every state has its, state by state. Of course, we have the national or the federal disaster program loan, the SBA, and you all should be applying for it because you're all eligible. I happen to be in Florida, so is Dori, and I am a certified Florida women-owned business and have that resource, which I sought out and have as a true asset in my back pocket, and they help walk me through that step. In fact, we might do that in a webinar as well. It's quite lengthy. It's lots of documentation, but there's money there to be had, and it's going to be the difference in us being in business when we're through this or not. So you need to be educated on that, and you need to apply, and you need to do it at like 4 a.m, guys, because you get bumped off all day long. You have to wake up early or stay up late to do it. Yeah. But anyway, yes, we can go into further depth, but it's the financial piece of this. I'm sure you are all very, affected, as am I, and as is Dori.
And that's why we're sharing, especially with my mastermind group, we're sharing all kinds of ways to look for new opportunities to actually generate revenue even now, because there are ways you can actually keep generating revenue. And I'm going to be giving you some ideas here a little bit later, but you have to look for opportunities, because if you don't, you're going to miss them. There are opportunities in every crisis. It does not matter. There are people that are going to be able to make money even during that period. And I want you to be one of those people. Sorry about the typo here. The impact that you need to make What is that? What are you going to do to truly impact members of the community? So that would be another whole thing that you should look at. And we're going to talk about this here a little bit as well.
And
But
I'll give you guys an example, because examples are great analogies to understand. So my hairstylist, obviously she's been out of business for 6 or 7 days. She went and invested in hair dye, over $1,000 worth of different hair dyes, knowing her clients, knowing who her client was, whatever combination they use, and purchased it and sent out an email to her client and said, I have your dye when you're ready. If we're not through this, of course, I can't go to my office. She had no control because the owner of the salon closed.
Right.
So she was stuck. So what is she going to do? Sulk? No, she got creative. And she figured out a new way she doesn't even have a laptop. She did this all literally from her phone, emailed them all. And she's mailing them their dye, and she created a video on how to actually apply this hair dye.
Yeah.
So that is, talk about pivot or reinventing yourself or finding opportunity. She's not going to sit back and sulk. She's going to figure out a way. It's her livelihood. You guys have even more opportunity than this, for sure.
And that's what I'm talking about, is there are always opportunities. You just have to think about what you want to do, or look to someone to give you some of these suggestions and ideas so you can benefit from them. So let's go over this a little bit, the revenue coming in. This is something that you should definitely look at and see, what do you still have coming in. Like many of our members, and just like you have a membership model. Many of our businesses that we work with, many of our clients also have memberships, and that's what's keeping them going right now, is because the money is still coming in, which is a very nice thing to do. So then the other thing, you have maybe some sales from gift cards, you have some online shop that you can make money from. You can start doing virtual consultations. We went into that in depth today. And then come up with the total of maybe what boutique sales maybe you're doing, and see how much money is actually coming in. You need to know that number. And that might fluctuate a little bit, week to week, but at least you have an awareness of what's coming in. And then you need to look at what's actually going out. What are those accounts payable? Are you paying for team members, your payroll amount? So see how lopsided, if you are, or are you breaking even, or what do you need to do to keep things going, or how long can you keep things going for? You need to know that. You need to be prepared. You need to have that parachute to help you. So a couple of suggestions for you is, just like Jill was saying, maybe you can go start applying for financial assistance if you're going to need it. I love credit cards with 0 interest, so you always get those in the mail. This might be a good time for you to get a couple of those cards to let you glide a little bit with no interest. That would be a great thing for you to do. And also then we need to discover what ways we can actually generate revenue. So if you know what's coming in and what's going out, then you have an idea of where you are financially, and you can make smart decisions. So make sure you do that. It's very important for you to really see what the difference is, and then have a plan for the what ifs. What if this happened? What if that happens? And have that parachute. Now,
and there's a couple of, I'll just mention, so the federal disaster loan, and this is a disaster, it's a federal disaster. So it's not, don't get too disrupted by that term. You will apply, you meet the criteria, is the disasterloan.sba, which stands for Small Business Association.gov. And then state by state, like Florida, our state has initiated a bridge loan. It's a bridge loan, which they'll give everyone, any small business, and they all will fit the criteria. Gets $50,000 interest-free for a full year, and then it's 12% after that. But listen, this $50,000 for a full year is going to help a lot of the businesses here. So you need to identify the resources in your state. The online, this information is readily available. Look at the Small Business Association .gov website, and yeah, act now on it.
For sure. And we really need to do a whole webinar on that, though. I think
And
this
we
is
will.
a deep subject that we really need some time on it. So moving on to the P is all about the plan to minimize disruption. So we want to give you some ideas here of what you can do right now to really help you. And one of the things that we gave you on the worksheet is actually ask some questions or put yourself in your client's shoes right now. You know, what are they going through and how can you help? How can you make an impact on what they really need right now? So if you go through that worksheet and answer these questions and truly take time answering them and be honest with yourself on how you can help members of your community right now. What do they need from you? What can you do to fulfill your purpose right now? We have so many professionals here, so many experts. It's time to step up now and get your ground and do what you do best and share your knowledge and expertise with people. Ask yourself, how do you add value? How do you create that win-win situation where you can really benefit people? So we want to give you a couple of suggestions on some things that you can do to really help members of your community. So the big focus, of course, now is online. We can't be touchy-feely. We can't be face-to-face. So my big suggestion for you is to set up your Zoom platform like we have right now and start communicating online with your clients and via your social media and via your YouTube channel. If you don't have a YouTube channel yet, you're crazy. You've got to have one because you should be doing all sorts of videos right now to really help you. I just want to use an example of one of our members and what she does. So I want you to meet Tracy Allman. She's a founder of Soulscapes. She's up in Pennsylvania. She is closed. She had to close because of where they are. And she's an amazing entrepreneur. She's a speaker, an author. She's one of our mastermind members. She already does the things that if I tell Tracy to go do something, she goes and does it. She's amazing. So she has really been building her positioning online and offline with her community. And this is the time to really do something like this. This is the time to go and get interviews with the media, to be the expert that you are, to maybe publish an article, publish a video, show people what you're all about. You need to step up. You need to do these things. And if Tracy can do this, so can you.
Dori, that's such a great point because, and you're not too late in the game if you haven't started or you don't have a book. Don't think that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people are tired of listening to the news. They're seeking out expert information. You are trained professionals. I want to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
So it's important. It really is because you're real. You're not the news. You're going to give me some expert advice on, even if it's just mitigating stress or maybe how I supplements I should be taking or adding to my regimen. But you're not too late if you don't have a book, was all my point was.
Yeah. And if you want to, I mean, writing a book is actually simpler than you think, because when you write a book or when you have your name on a book and you're an author, you automatically raise your actual positioning. So I want you to at least start writing some articles, even if it's not a book or a blog, and start publishing. And the more you publish, the better off you're going to be.
And even if you don't have a blog or you don't have a place to put your article, put it out on Facebook. It's still content. Content's king. It's still going to get indexed. So don't shy away from any type of social presence. Even if you haven't done it, start doing it.
Yep. And one thing we're doing with our members is we're actually doing a class on how to do online consultations this Thursday. And we want to take their experts that are, instead of them not working, we want to be able to start doing all these online consultations and be able to give, again, value and education to all their clients. So that's one thing you can do, and you can generate revenue from that. You can do product assessments. So I was sharing with our group today, we're going into spring, and now it's a different regimen that they need for their skin. So it'll be a great little webinar that you can do, or again, online one-on-one to generate revenue. You've got telemedicine that's exploding right now. So many things that you can do. You can do online coaching for enhancing the immune system, to feeling better, to eating right. I mean, really, the opportunities are endless for your expertise. You just have to put your thinking caps on, find out truly, do this exercise and find out truly what your people are looking for right now, and then just give it to them. And when you do that, magic is going to happen. There's going to be so many great things that are going to come your way, but you have to do it. You have to do it.
And I suppose, or I don't know if you have a resource on the whole HIPAA compliance through telemedicine, or if you plans to do a seminar specific to that, because I've had a lot of questions on that.
Actually, I'm doing a webinar also with an insurance agent. His name is Ed Kuhn. We're going to do the webinar on Friday, where we're going to be discussing all the insurance guidelines of what they need to do now. Should they keep paying for insurance? What happens if they don't? What's up with the liability? All those questions he's going to be able to answer for us.
Yes, and I'm going to do my due diligence to reach out to my expert physicians and see the different platforms that they're using for telemedicine, and we'll share that with Dori, with your group, and with my group. So we're going to do the identify our resources as much as we can to bring it to you, in an effort to support one another, for sure.
Yep.
But that's a big one.
Yeah. And one other thing I shared with the group, our mastermind group, was the do-it-yourself treatments that could be so hot right now. We actually created the trends, top 9 trends for do-it-yourself treatments. And now the group is going to be creating videos on how to use those do-it-yourself, and then sell these kits that go with the do-it-yourself. So these are all the things that we are working on to help generate more revenue, because if we think our clients are sitting at home, they're probably on Amazon. I received in my email today specials from Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, Tiffany. They're all sending out emails like crazy. So what do you think your clients are doing at home? They're sitting there and they're buying things. So why not take that time for you to educate them, teach them how to be well, how to look better, and do it in a way where it can generate revenue for you. So these are all innovative things that you can do to keep things going instead of just sitting and doing nothing.
Yeah, excellent advice.
Yeah. So, all right, the S in success, we're almost at our time here. The S in success is planning your relaunch. And really, that's what probably the most important thing right now for you is to plan the relaunch, because there is going to be a relaunch. We are going to get past this. And how are we going to come out of it? That's going to be my favorite part of actually guiding my mastermind groups and you guys into actually relaunching properly. And here's one thought. What is on here is so true. If this was easy, everyone would do it.
Right.
But you know what? The people are looking for easy things are not on this webinar right now. Those are not here. You guys that are here, that are taking the time and investing in yourself, you're the ones that are willing to do the work and actually come out above everybody else. You are going to rise so much higher than everybody else. But the thing is, we all need guidance. Jill has a coach. I have a mentor and a coach. We all need help. So I think at this time, everybody should get the right guidance to really take them through this process. Because if we don't have the right guidance, we don't have the right personal development tools to actually implement, then you're going to be floundering. You're going to be unclear. You're not going to do exactly what you need to do. So seeking advice and help is very important right now. Don't just think, oh, I'm going to try this or try that. You want to try things that you know are going to work. And that's my big advice for you, is to really tap into the right tools that you need to plan your relaunch. And if you do that, you're definitely going to succeed.
You have to take action. You can't fail if you don't do anything, right? So you're not failing. Keep going and trying what is going to work. You may have to reinvent yourself or hit the reset button a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a born optimist, I will tell you. But I can promise you this: we are going to come out of this way better. We
Mm-hmm.
really are. We're going to have to be possibly leaner in what is our practice offering or our spa offering. But if you do what Dori was saying in the beginning, we're really going to sit back and take a time to reflect, do nothing. How are we going to slim down?
Mm-hmm.
I am very excited about the opportunities that lie ahead. Because there's a lot of opportunities here. We just have to be positive and go after them.
Yeah, come up with that plan. You know, I mentioned the 7 habits of highly effective people, and one of the habits is sharpening the saw. And sometimes, like we were talking about earlier, you're working in your business and you don't have time to sharpen the saw. And sharpening the saw is all about taking the time to really study and learn, and then go back and try to cut the tree again. But if you're just sawing and sawing and sawing and taking you forever to do something, then you're not going to be as successful. So check all your systems, your structure. I call them the 4 S's, which equal to the 5th X, which is success. So if you have all these outlined and you have all the right strategies in place, then you're more likely to succeed. So I want to give them some tips on what they need to look for. And by the way, you guys, this is going to be a whole webinar all by itself, just planning your relaunch. But at least I wanted to give you an outline of what you need to start thinking about. I like thinking, let it simmer, and then come back to it. Think, simmer, come back to it. You come up with brilliant ideas that way. So the success for planning your relaunch, the first thing you want to look at is your positioning and your marketing. And that's what I'm trying to tell all of our community right now, is this is a perfect time to improve your positioning. And then marketing becomes super easy when you actually launch, because people are going to be drawn to you because of the things you're doing right now. And that's why it's so important to do this. The other thing you want to look at is your menu. This is a great time actually with Jill's platform. This is a great time to look at your menu and see, like she said, she got rid of 2 things that were not doing very well. I want you to look at your menu and assess it. What's making you money? What's popular? What's not? What can we introduce new? What clinical classes do you need to take to introduce that new thing? But your menu plays a excuse me, plays a big part of your launch.
And taking the again, online platform, you're kind of stuck, guys. We are stuck, like it or not, and we probably got another 14 days of it at least. So learning online in that kind of platform, and who are you learning from? That's another thing. And I'm not pitching specialty med, but understanding, getting some true skill sets from and new procedures and techniques that you can truly quickly implement, that you've been wanting to, or add in combination to what you're already doing to help you generate your practice revenue.
Yeah, it makes it exciting. Critical. Yeah. And even the experience, you can change all that around. The way people check in at your place, where do they go to fill out their paperwork? How do you actually do the treatment, the beginning of the treatment, the rituals, the protocols? All these things play a key role in your retention rate. And if you look at all your processes and what you have going on right now and how you can improve it, you're going to be able to modify a few things that are truly going to make a big difference to your relaunch. Because I don't want you to just reopen the door, send out one email saying, oh, we're open. You need to do this with a big bang. You need to do an event. You need to do your email campaign, your social media campaign, your videos, and make a big deal about what you're announcing as a new way to help your community. So
and how meaningful to you to be able to make that announcement. Not that I'm just opened up, but now I'm able to offer this, or this is what's new, or I've learned this in my downtime. You know, there's the opportunity. So you're absolutely right, Dori. This is a brilliant time to be focusing on these things
Yeah.
How many of you probably said, oh, I wish I could have just take a look at my menu or clean up my menu of services.
Yeah.
And
I'm amazed how many people don't have menus. Like this is Estique. This is one of my favorite clients actually in Pittsburgh. And Linda Lazaro and her daughter Brianna own the Med Spa, and the husband is a plastic surgeon. We actually did all their branding, their menu, their membership brochure, because again, I believe in memberships. Their website, everything is branded. This is the time to really look at your online presence, how you're presenting yourself. So if you need a new website, you need a new menu, you need a whole new branding, maybe you want to change your colors. I mean, this is the time to really come out and do things in a way where people are going to come back to you saying, wow, your place looks amazing. Wow, I want to come back here. And if you take the time now to really replan all that, then you're on the right track. And again, that's what, I have a whole team that can help you with that. So feel free to reach out and we can help you in any way we can.
And as well as we do. In fact, I'm going to put you all up to a challenge and just say, don't let yourself relaunch and don't let yourself reopen without something new.
That's a good challenge. I like it.
Yeah.
So Jill was just saying, be aware of who you listen to. Actually, that's huge. You don't want to listen to Uncle Bob and Aunt Mildred on how to do things. You really need to go to the experts to help you find that cheese again, because if you don't find the cheese, the cat is waiting for you on the other side, or you might have the trap instead. So be very careful who you listen to. We had to add some humor in here. Come on, this is just way too serious, right?
And that's on all levels. Listen to it for your practice and even for news, everything.
Exactly. So to wrap things up here a little bit, excuse me, I'm losing my voice now. What resources do you have to really have you go to that abundance instead of scarcity? So these are some of the things that I know I practice, I know Jill practices, and we want you to practice. So look for a mentor, look for someone that can really add value to what you're doing. Business coaching is huge. You really need someone to guide you. Keep reading those great books and hang around positive people. If you have somebody in your close proximity who's negative, that you can't afford that right now.
And align with groups that are associated within your space or your field or niche that do bring value. That my whole business model is built on that. Again, that whole peer-to-peer collaboration. Attend webinars like we're putting on. Listen, we're not pitching anything. We are truly educating you, giving you resources and tools because we have years of experience in knowing what works and what doesn't. So be sure mentoring, coaching, everything, but do your due diligence and be involved, because you will be irrelevant once this is through. This is going to clean the slate, guys. This really, really is. We're going to see a lot of people not come back, good or bad or indifferent. If you're not taking actions and taking steps, you may be one of them. So get involved, stay involved, listen to our webinars. In fact, Dori, we've talked this morning, and now I am absolutely convinced a few times that we need to start a regular webinar series, because this is how we give back to our community. And that's very important to us. So we're going to define that and stay tuned for that. And I hope all of you, how many, Dori? 800?
We had 550 something register. Yeah, we maxed out our Zoom. We only can take 500 on our Zoom.
That's awesome.
So there are
I hope you all sign up for a regular education series, because we're going to continue that through this crisis.
Yes, and all these webinars are going to be posted online, so you can go back and review them, or if you want some of your team members to see them, they'll be available. So we want to leave you with some gifts that both Jill and I would like to offer you guys. One is because you might be in a situation where you don't really know what to do right now. I have coaches on my team that are willing to give a quick 20-minute little complimentary assessment that can answer any of the questions. all you have to do is go to inspirationmanagement.com and you'll see it there at the homepage. So feel free to sign up, and one of my business advisors will be able to help you. So you can do that with us. And then Jill and her team are offering the same thing. So if
The
you're
same
wondering,
thing, yeah. Just visit Specialty Med Training. You can set up a consultation. That will happen with me. I am working on my business, and my business right now is aligning with people like yourself. So yeah, I'm going to be giving those consultations, those 20-minute consultations, to just really to learn about your practice and connect you with maybe somebody within the network that can help you as well. And also, if I can say, I'd love for you all to, a lot of you are from Dori's network, some are from mine, but please hit the Stay Connected button for me on Specialty Med website so that we can stay in communication. And we don't send too many emails there. It's all very valuable, meaningful, purposeful information.
mm-hmm. Yeah, great. And I'm doing something special for everybody. When this all hit, I was sitting home thinking, how can I add value to the industry as a whole and globally, not just here in my community in the US? So I had bought this domain name a while ago, globalmedspa-association.com. And I've been sitting on it. And as we were going through all this crisis, I decided it's time for me to launch this so I can really contribute to the entire globe on how to help them with their business and navigate through this process. So this is a nonprofit organization. It's designed to unite, educate, and grow. So that's our mission of what we want to do with this organization. So literally, we just launched a homepage. So the website is nowhere near being done. Excuse me, but you can go to globalmedspa-association.com, and I'm letting everybody join for free. So you're more than welcome to become a member. And this is where I'm going to house all the webinars that I'm doing during this. And I'm also looking for professionals that can come and be interviewed by me or would like to do a webinar like I just did with Jill. I'll be more than happy to take your application. So there's a place to take the application on globalmedspa-association.com. Feel free to fill it in. Tell me what your expertise are, because what I really want to do right now is just stay on it and keep adding value, keep helping people. That's my impact to the global industry here, to make sure that everybody's on the right track.
Mine as well. Share, learn, grow is my tagline. That's how we grow, is if we share, so we can all learn together. Yeah. I would like to add, Dori, and maybe you will do this anyway, because we are going to continue this education series, a webinar series, and we may deliver it in all different sorts of digital formats. Your input on what it is that you need to learn, what you want to learn, what you're interested in knowing, and maybe how to navigate. And every one of you, it's so specific, your different practices. And even if you're offering the same services, it's a different area, a different niche. So please post that in the question and answer section on this platform so that we can customize our messaging.
Actually, Jill, what I'm going to do is we'll be attaching a survey to the email that you're all going to receive from us. So you're going to get the worksheet, and there'll be a survey as to what topics you would like to address, or maybe questions that you have. We have a lot of questions actually that came in. Maybe we can even do one webinar for only Q&A and just go through the questions. And I appreciate you actually sending in your questions. And actually there's about 20 something of them. So I think we need to set up a session to just answer those questions. And that way.
And if you have any questions for me personally, my email is on that slide, jill@specialtymedtraining.com. I mean, I'm very accessible and willing to help in any way I can.
So if you want to stay on, we can probably take a couple of questions.
I think there are some that we kind of need too. First off, a lot of people are doing shout outs to you, Dori and Jill, thanking you for giving them this invaluable information.
Oh, a lot of people are saying
and
thank
that
you,
you're
Jill.
impacting their lives differently now because
Very
of this
nice.
virus. So
Thank you.
and then just to remind everybody, we are going to send the recording out. We're getting a bunch of questions in
Yes.
about that. So they're
We will be sending out the recording of this, so you'll have it. Again, look in the email. You might want to go and whitelist the inspiration management email, or check your spam folder in case it goes in there. But we're definitely sending out one with the worksheet, with the audio and the webinar and a survey.
Yeah.
Great point. And look, whitelist specialty med as well. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few different questions. The first one's going to be for you, Dori. Susan's asking, you talked about their website, and she's asking, do you recommend they actually do it on their self, or would you rather them contact a company? And if they contact a company, who do you recommend to fix their website during this time?
Okay, well, I have so this Susan is asking about whether they should fix their own website or have somebody special to do it. Now, I mean, if you're talented and if you can think you can do your own branding and fix the website, then that's great. But I've always believed that we should all do what we do best and spend our time on what we do best. So if building website is not your specialty, Susan, then you should really have somebody else build it for you. I have an entire team that can help you with building a website. So we can definitely do your branding, make it look amazing, but make it functional, because that's most important. Is you have to generate leads from it, you have to engage from it, you have to make money from your website. And if it's not doing those for you, then you definitely need a new website. So reserve a complimentary assessment, and my team can make some recommendations for you, Susan. Thank you for asking.
And then our next question is for Jill. Tracy Ullman, who actually wrote the book.
Oh.
She's asking Jill if she can maybe give them some key pointers of some new procedures that would not cost them an arm and a leg to roll out right now.
This is a great question for you, Jill. Did you hear Tara?
I think so. What new procedures that they could implement that we might be able to help.
Very costly.
Okay. So, I mean, I run our courses run the gamut of all different types of procedures. So from sexual wellness to hair, to aesthetics, to musculoskeletal. So it would depend on your particular practice or area of focus. But let's take aesthetics.
She has a med spa up in Pennsylvania.
So aesthetics. So you're probably already doing microneedling. Mm-hmm. Perhaps
lasers, microneedling. Yes.
So microneedling for hair regrowth. We have a whole course on that. That is absolutely an amazing result.
Is that with PRP, Jill?
That's with PRP.
And that is so low cost.
I mean, for the results, because the ROI on that, the procedure is, you get between, at least a couple $1,000s to do a 90-day protocol for this particular hair regrowth protocol that we developed. And let me just say, is Tara the one who asked the question?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We actually worked with the pharmaceutical company, Tailor Made Pharmacy, the PRP company, and Specialty Med were behind a study. We did a 90-day study on this hair regrowth program and developed this 90-day protocol with multiple practices around the country. So this is phenomenal. So that's
nice.
That's something great in an aesthetic practice. I guess, as well as doing the PRP on the face. So sexual wellness, you could, or even, a functional regenerative practice, adding different combination therapies. Perhaps you're doing treatments for ED, adding possibly pharmaceuticals. Some med spas don't have a medical doctor who could do pharmaceuticals, but shockwave therapy, that might be a little costly with equipment, but they're working amazingly with providers. Mm-hmm. Orthopedics, I mean, even family practitioners. Do you have many family practitioners, Dori, in your network?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of them that, I mean, they're seeing all types, being able to understand how to do a joint injection. Yeah. A lot of these providers are already doing, as I said, the training is the easy part. It's just how do we implement, where do we apply these new technologies, and what protocols do we use for whatever kind of outcome that we're looking for. Neck treatments, hand treatments. Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
and our website too, a list of all the online courses are there. There's quite a few free courses as well. So just you can go through that list and see.
Yeah.
And even we set up consults with the educators too, Tara. So perhaps even just that's part of, again, another real value of the peer-to-peer. We to speak with some of the other practitioners, or what are they doing in their spa. So that's a huge asset and value add of being a part of the network, just really picking the brains of others. But there's lots of procedures, lots of ways to combine different therapies. Maybe you're offering them lots of stuff that I don't even know about. We can show you how to combine them once we do this consult. What are you doing in your practice? So I can better help assess and answer that question more thoroughly.
Sounds
so please
good.
set up a call. I mean, I'd love to learn more specifics about your practice so I can answer you more specifically.
I have a question here that was emailed to me before even the webinar from Christine. And she's asking how to bring clients to purchase products as another stream of revenue during this time of crisis. Actually, I just answered this question to some of our mastermind group members today. And one idea I gave them is instead of laying off everybody if you are closed, you can always have one person stay there answering the phone, because there's going to be phone calls that are coming into you, and be able to offer products to people that walk in. As long as you're practicing the social distancing, then it should be okay for you to actually generate revenue if you can. Again, everybody's situation is a little bit different, but you can do something like that. Or you can do the do-it-yourself strategy that I gave you earlier to generate more revenue through that.
By that you mean, Dori, like customizing particular kits that might fit your
do the videos, do a recipe, do something where you can email it, do a video about it, and then try to promote the products that way.
Great advice.
Recommend they charge for virtual consultations.
So somebody's asking, should we charge for virtual consultations? So at this time, I'm all about charging for consultations, but at a time like this, I would not charge for consultation, because your consultation right now is all about building relationships, creating that conversation with your clients, building trust, and then finding out what's best for them and making that recommendation. We don't do consultations to make money from a consultation. We do consultations so we can generate revenue from the treatments that we promote and the products that they will buy from us. So
I think if I can just add to that, Dori, just a different perspective, because I worked with literally hundreds of physicians, transitioning them out of insurance-based into cash-based and handling the consults and setting up the fees for them. Depending on your practice. Now, maybe aesthetic consultations.
No, we always ask to charge though, Jill. I always tell them to charge. But for right now, I don't think they should charge. I really don't.
But if you're doing a functional medicine or regenerative medicine and looking at someone's hormones or their labs.
Well, that's a little bit different. I think she's talking about products. What is that?
This is virtual consultation.
Yeah.
From Zana, who's a member.
Yeah, she's has a med spa. So again, it depends on the kind of person you are. But believe me, I am all about charging for consultations.
Well, consultation is time is money. So, and you're right, during this time when you have a little bit more downtime, and it is a way to gain some loyalty and integrity and trust.
Yes,
sure. But be careful you're not taken advantage of as well.
Absolutely.
In this situation.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's good on the question.
Yeah.
I just want to leave with a positive note from someone that just wrote from Sarah. She said, "This was amazing. Thank you for all your knowledge and the new mindsets to take on this new challenge. I'm incredibly motivated by you."
Oh, that's nice.
Excellent.
This is from Sarah.
This is from Sarah. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being such a good attendant and for taking this information and making a difference. So I had a great time with you, Jill. It was so much fun to be together and do this, and I look forward to doing more with you. I want to thank all of our visitors from all over the world for spending the time with us. again, I really want to encourage you and inspire you to go out there and make a difference, make the impact, and be the experts that you are. And I know I'm going to be back in touch with you. Look out for our emails so you see what we're going to be talking about next. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Jill, so much.
Yes, thank you, Dori, very much. And I'm grateful to be a part of this. And I can't wait to see some of you or all of you through the other side of this, because it's coming, and we will all be better for it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, stay well, and everybody wash your hands.
That's right. Be safe. God bless, and let's make it happen. Let's do
it. Thank you so much,
Bye,
Dori.
Jill. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Okay, bye.